So good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for the next segment in our online workshop series. So today's topic is cannabis in the next normal. And it seems really Zoom has been having some troubles this week, so we've made a few adjustments on our end. So if you have any internet issues, just let us know there in the chat. We're gonna help you here today drive sales in this emerging industry. So although everyone is muted automatically, we want to hear from you. Put your questions in the Q&A function there at the bottom or the chat. Either way, we'll answer it and we'll make sure to rephrase that question and put it back out to the audience as well so everyone can learn. After this webinar, we'll also hold the panelists for an extra 15 minutes to answer more questions live. We've crafted this content based on the questions and surveys you've already sent in. So we've really tried to kind of get at what folks are really looking to learn. So my name is Stephanie Drago, and I've been here in this industry for 9 years, and I'm working in e-commerce and marketing, all things digital, for over 20 years. So I'm glad to be with you here today. We'll be sharing pro tips and ideas from the experts in cannabis. So first of all, you all saw that poll as you came in, so we wanted to get to know you. So I'm gonna end that polling and I'll just share the results here. It looks like really most of our folks are kind of in that newer territory today, and that's what we suspected just based on the pre-webinar surveys. So most folks are saying, I've never sold anything in this industry, but maybe I'm familiar with the products. We also have a few folks just saying they're new. I mean, they're just new to this whole industry. So we're going to cater today's presentation more in that direction. We've got a few people here. It looks like that they've sold some products in that industry, and that we've also had folks who feel very comfortable with it. So we'll put in some extra information for you too as you're getting into your business. So alrighty, let's, now that we've got to know you guys a little bit, we are also going to just have you sit back and relax. I'll introduce our speakers. So Zach, you've been with the company a few years now, and we're excited to having a package expert here today. So welcome, Zach.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm really excited to show and teach you guys some things about packaging in the cannabis industry. Hopefully unbox some ideas for you, no pun intended. But I'm excited for you guys all to be here and cannot wait to get going.
Excellent. And Alex, you've been leading this company charge for emerging industries for a few years now, so especially cannabis and CBD. So welcome, Alex.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I am excited to talk a little bit more about Cannabis 101 and CBD 101.
Excellent. And Rustin, with 20 years of experience, you're truly the visionary behind bringing packaging to Navitor. So excited to have you here today. Welcome, Rustin.
Yep, excited to be here. 20 years visionary or old guy. I'm not sure which one 20 really equates to, but I can hopefully fill both spots. So good to see it. Good to.
Thanks, Rustin. And Sadie, we always have questions about labels during these workshops. So I'm glad to have you here and your 17 years of experience. Welcome, Sadie.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm excited to, this is a great topic. And like she said, labels always fit into it. So with us, I'm going to throw a pun in there. Stick with us. I've got some great things to show too. I'm excited.
Excellent. All right. Thank you, Sadie. So cannabis, this is an exciting new industry full of opportunity. Experts are really showing that those who get started in the early stages right now really are staking the claim for the long term. So for our past online workshops, we usually talk about how distributors are filling the gap in revenue or making up for the downturn. But today, we're really talking about growth and the growth that cannabis is seeing. Cannabis before the pandemic was growing, and Alex is going to share a little bit more about that. But during the pandemic, it's really nothing compared to it. So exciting opportunities there. We're going to focus this discussion today around packaging, labeling, and pitching. You'll hear themes around bulk buying, growth in edibles. You'll also, of course, see curbside and retail models. So we'll talk about that too with you. We'll help make sure that you're feeling confident in it. And based on that survey earlier, it looks like, about 2/3 of you are pretty new in the industry, and about 1/3 of you then are a little bit more active and have some experience there already. So we'll make sure to talk to that so that you're learning as much as possible. So at the end of this 30 minutes, our goal is that you feel more confident as you take your next steps. 96% of our workshop attendees, such as yourselves, are reporting that these webinars are making an impact on their business. So turn off those cell phones, shut down the distractions, use the Q&A feature or the chat feature, whichever one, and focus on your next steps to grow your business with cannabis. And so I'm going to pass this over to Alex to start with a bit of Cannabis 101. And I know you've really done a lot of work in this area, so I'll shoot it over to you, Alex.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. There are three main industry segments, such as cannabis, CBD, and hemp. So cannabis also is broken down just a little bit further into recreational versus medicinal use. So a little difference between CBD and hemp versus cannabis is that CBD and hemp is a non-psychoactive, which that THC then contains lower than 0.3% like content of THC, versus cannabis is going to be psychoactive, which is a higher THC content, and that can be between 5 to 35%. So if you don't know what a psychoactive means, it's affecting the mind. So cannabis, you can get high off of, versus CBD and hemp, you won't get high. So looking at the left graph, I know Stephanie was talking about the pandemic and hurting some industries. Surprisingly, with this being cannabis CBD, I feel like I thought it was going to hurt in the long run, but it has not changed throughout the pandemic. It is still growing. So this graph can help show you that there's going to be an annual compound growth rate of 22.2% from 2020 to 2025. And so it's just something interesting that even I, like doing a ton of research, I thought it was going to hurt just a tad bit with the pandemic, and it just kept growing. And a big reason why is because a lot of places that had ethanol machinery for CBD, cannabis, and hemp changed their market to hand sanitizer right now. So they're still growing quite frequently, which is awesome. And so why do people use CBD? It really does help reduce chronic pain. It also relieves stress, anxiety, and depression. So some of the most used CBD-based products are tinctures, capsules, or infused beverages, like Rustin was talking about a little earlier. And then emerging CBD products consist of gummies, beauty and hair, and also pet supplies, which are awesome. I like the pet supplies. And then this map is just the psychoactive map. So this is not containing anything about CBD. CBD has been accepted worldwide, or like US wide. So in all 50 states, it actually is legal, versus 11 states are legalized recreational, and then 33 states are legalized medicinally. And so what that means is medical versus your own use of cannabis. So kind of interesting. And then, so with cannabis, each state, city, or even county can have a different law that you have to abide by for labels and packaging. So for example, in Colorado, you need to have a universal symbol that shows it contains THC for either recreational use or medicinal use. And so packaging on top of that universal symbol must include saying contains marijuana, keep out of reach of children. So that's just a quick example of a little law in Colorado, and that's all of Colorado, and it can get even deeper and deeper from city to county. Another example is in California, which you have to have packaging tamper evident, child resistant, resealable, and opaque for edibles, which opaque means not transparent, so you can't see through, because you don't want kids to be like, ooh, gummies, I want some. No, you don't. It contains cannabis, not good for kids. So one thing you're going to hear a lot about in this industry is child safety and child resistance. We could have a whole conversation on child safety and child resistance, but that's not what today is going to be talking about. We're going to just be talking a little bit more high level than down in the nitty gritty. But if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with me about child resistance, just shoot me an email. I would gladly sit with you one-on-one, and we can dive a little bit deeper into different laws in each state. And then, so one thing that I noticed learning and doing a ton of research is terminology is super important in this industry. There's a lot of dictionaries that you can find, but what I found most useful is just having a conversation with someone that's been in this industry even longer than me. So for example, on terminology, bud is an outdated word versus industry folks now say flower. So say flower versus bud. And then first-time buyers are the fastest growing segment. So a popular way to start is through tins of gummies versus the smoking is not the popular way anymore. Edibles are the most popular. First are gummies, followed by chocolates, cookies, and brownies as well. So just a quick little pro tip is distributors often have early success with dispensaries or manufacturers, especially about new products and brands coming to the market. And retailers are great, but don't think you'll be selling big signage or window decals. Dispensaries typically are very subtle exterior signage, but the inside definitely is a different story. That's where it's, boom, here's my brand. But we've also found success beginning with agencies and consultants. So a big part of supporting this industry is packaging and labels, and that's what we want to talk to you about next. So next up is our packaging expert, Zach Kessler.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. I kind of want to start you guys off with a quick little case study we had done. A couple months ago, I had a customer come up to me, was looking for tincture boxes. They wanted to do 19 different versions, 1,000 per version, and then flavor. So what kind of happened here is, along with the soft touch coating that they wanted a silver foil. And what the problem is that the silver foil has a hard time adhering to the box correctly. So we met with my production team. They did a great job of producing what they needed. And in return, we had a retail revenue of about $30,000 and for 20,000 boxes in 19 different versions. Another thing I wanted to kind of add on that is that the labels and packaging go together very well. So one thing that I wanted to kind of emulate is that you can be the one-stop shop for your customer as far as we can do the packaging and the labels. It's a great value add. You can have the typically labels, packaging that's going into the labels, the product contains a label. And to be able to provide a label and the package at one time is a great value add. And so you can see subsequently we added about $7,000 in retail revenue to that. Move on to the next one, please. So a couple things you'll hear. Packaging products that are cannabis products that you'll hear, vape pens, cannabis cartridges, those kind of go hand in hand. Sometimes you'll have a box that is containing both products, and then you'll have another box that might just have one or the other. They typically are put into folded carton boxes, whether it's a tray and sleeve or just a regular box with an insert that it goes into. There's different things you can do. Typically they are folded carton. If they do contain THC, you might need to look at some of the guidelines as far as child resistant and stuff like that. CBD, there hasn't seemed to be any type of child resistant or child safety regulations put in place yet in the 50 states. So just something that, really depends on what type of content is in the cartridge. Cannabis and CBD pre-rolls, another one that you'll hear. The street term is joints. The industry term is pre-rolls. So you have cannabis and CBD. Like I said before, if it contains THC, you may need to look into some child-resistant packaging. On the other hand, I've done CBD pre-rolls that are typically put into, sorry about that. So typically, the CBD pre-rolls that are just put into a tray and sleeve where you can just open and close it, easy access, stuff like that. Cannabis concentrates, such as cannabis oils, wax, dabs, hashes, and tinctures. These are typically put into opaque jars that you can screw open and that are then put into easily opened box, folded carton box. Moving on, cannabis edibles, like Alex alluded to, gummies and chocolates are the most common. Cookies and brownies are some other things that are out there. What you'll see with gummies and chocolates is gummies are usually put into a Mylar zip bag, or they're put into a jar and then put into a box to put up on the shelf and make it look elegant. Get that real shelf appeal that you're looking for. Cannabis oils. So I actually have, this is my beard oil, but it gives you a good idea of a tincture bottle of what it means, right? So this is exactly the style of what a tincture is, maybe a little bigger, maybe a little smaller. So those are what we're talking about. Those get put into a folded carton retail display box, something like this. This is a cool box that we did. I'll show it quickly. So you got the silver foil. I'm gonna kind of move it around here. And what's cool is that these are the different versions. So there's different flavors, right? Each flavor is a different version. We are capable of doing that. The foil goes really good onto this type of box. It really shows a good shelf appeal. Some really cool things we can do. We can move on to the next slide. Package types, folding carton boxes. So this CBD or this tincture bottle that you'll see right there, those type of boxes are perfect for tincture oils and different types of things like that. And for like gummy jars and creams and stuff like that, those straight tuck boxes, that's what we consider right there in that top right, are perfect for this. Trays and sleeves, like I alluded to for pre-rolls, you can put them in a box that goes like this. Whether it's child resistant or not is up to the content that's in that product. Beverage carriers, as Rustin and Alex alluded to, not as popular, but they're out there and they're becoming more popular. So it's something that we can offer. Point of purchase display box. Let's say you want to display about 12 of these into one box on a countertop. That's a great option right there. That green box really shows a great elegant piece to show on a counter when someone's checking out. They're like, hey, what is this? I might pick it up, buy it, and try it out. So it's a pretty cool concept. Hang tags and Mylar zip bags aren't more like the Mylar zip bags are more for the gummies and stuff like that. Aren't as relevant as kind of some of the boxes that we get into. So I just want to kind of talk about our capabilities next. So for us, light folded carton, we'll be able to help you out with that. That's all day for us. We can do 16, 18, 20 point coated stocks. We can also do uncoated stocks with foil. It just depends on what type of piece you're looking for. Finishing capabilities, we do 4-color PMSing, foil stamping and embossing. We can do lamination, spot UV. As you see on the right side here, foil stamping and embossing, spot UV are great value adds to the piece that you're putting on the retail shelf to show the customer. We also have a CAD designer in-house that I work with specifically that can make your custom product the way you need it, the style you want it to be. We can make it like that. We do blank construction mock-ups for you to make sure the product fits correctly and to make sure that we're presenting your customer with a great quality piece before we actually move forward into the production. I want to wrap up my segment here by just stating that typically in this industry, a lot of the people are going to be, just inserting into the industry. So they want to do test runs. They want to do short to medium runs, 250, 500, 1,000. We're right up that alley for you. And then we also have the capabilities to go up to 50,000, 100,000 and above. It really just depends on the type of box and the size and how many we can get up on a sheet, all that kind of stuff. And we can get into that if you come to me with questions, I'm more than happy to work with you. Last thing I want to note on is fast turn times. We try to turn this for you, get a good value add for you and your customer, get it in and out the door, make sure we're presenting you with a great quality product in a reasonable amount of time, because we understand the speed to market in this kind of industry. So those are some things that I wanted to talk about here today. I appreciate you guys listening. I'm going to hand it back to Stephanie here. She's got a poll for you, and we'll keep this moving.
Perfect. So I'm going to launch another poll here, and then we're going to move right into Sadie's going to talk to us more about some of the labels. We'll share the results of this shortly. Go ahead, Sadie.
Thank you, Stephanie. Hi, everybody. Yeah, labels is another one that goes hand in hand with the packaging that Zach just told us about. And really, when you're looking at labels in this particular industry, you're going to be really looking at a lot of different types of labels. So anything from the branding and the marketing, which is huge for this. So you're thinking about like a retail environment where someone's going in, there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of people putting different products. Like we've heard so many different options in the products. So really they're trying to find something that's going to catch the eye of the shopper, something that's going to make their product stand out. So branding and marketing is where labels can come in, whether you're just adding a label onto a current carton or box, or wanting to actually put it right onto a bottle or onto the product. There's a lot of regulatory, of course, that we've talked about. So things like the cannabis symbol labels, safety requirements, state guidelines, things like that, barcoding, all of that can be done with a label. Also, we actually see some warehouse labeling happening too, where people want to order just for their internal use, wanting to be able to track products and boxes throughout their facility, wanting to do some maybe thermal transfer or laser imprintable labels. All of that is available also. And that's not listed here, but it's another thing that you see once in a while with a brand or say just a logo would be like a bumper sticker, and also coupon uses are another great way that you can sell a label to this industry. So let's move on to looking at some of the label options that we offer. Like I said, really the goal with labels in these is to stand out from the competition while at the same time meeting all the expectations and the requirements for the labeling and relaying important warnings and information. And again, just making it look like really a high-end product. So I want to show you some of the different things that we can do. So we'll start with, I'll just show these samples here. This is one that really, it's for a pet product, but it's just a label. It's got a mesh, kind of creates the look that this person's looking for. And it has just one ink on it. So it's a basic label, but it really is a nice product label. And this is for a CBD treat for a pet. You can go from anything that basic into more intricate things, such as we have this one here, which is a foil stamp embossed. See that there? So this is the hot stamping, a couple of different colors on here. We've got the black background with the silver. And so this is another great option. Things like this. So really, when you're looking for a label and have a customer coming to you asking for, maybe they don't even know where to start. These are just some ideas, and we can, as experts on this, help you with, here's some ideas and here's some samples to show your client. So another one I'm going to save here. This one here is a purple label that is 4-color process with white, and it uses what we call our color logic. And color logic is how you can kind of see those designs in the background there. So this is something, this was on a product at high-end appearance. So it looks like it is a white label with gold and silver foil, which foils can get a little bit more costly, but this is actually a trick. Here is the label. It's actually silver. So it's a silver label printed 4-color process to create the look of a gold or silver foil. So the nice thing about this is it's ran digitally. If we get into higher quantities, we can also run things like this conventionally, but this is a digital one. So it's great for if someone has, a lot of different versions with low minimums available. We have variable content options, all of that. So this is one that, like I said, it's a white looking label, but it really is silver to pick up that metallic aspect of it. So whether you have a customer looking for something that's hand applied, machine applied, multiple versions, the foil stamping, or even, like I said earlier, just a blank label, all of those are available. And I do want to let you all know too that we have a cannabis label packet. This is something great if you're already in with a customer in this industry or looking to get into it or just get the word out. This has a whole packet of just labels that are all for this particular industry. So when they open, it's going to all apply to them. It's going to really resonate with them well. And then we also have digital sales tools as well. So before we move on, let's flip this back over here to Stephanie and see how those poll results came in.
All right, thanks, Sadie. We're gonna go quickly into Rustin here to talk about it. It looks like folks mostly are definitely on that newer side, like we were saying before. So he's gonna share a few more details there. Pass it over to you, Rustin.
Yeah, thanks, Stephanie. I don't know about you guys, but I'm listening to Alex and Zach and Sadie, and man, it just makes me excited to sell in this industry. There is a lot of opportunity here. So I did want to make note, we know there's quite a few either comments or questions in the chat box, and we're going to definitely get to those here towards the end. We're not ignoring you folks. And maybe some of those things are being answered throughout the webinar as well. But so a couple things that I want to leave you with. One is with this being a new industry, whether you're approaching a dispensary, an extractor who would be the manufacturer for an oil, or an agency that really is focusing on CBD and cannabis, keep in mind, in my experience, these people love to educate you about their product. They're super proud of what they've done. They're all entrepreneurs. So as you get into this space, my number one key would be listen, let them talk about what makes their product and their processes unique. And that'll help you formulate a brand strategy and how that can tie into the packaging and how that can tie into the labeling and help you really pull that together. Because when you look at these products, they're still going to fight on the shelf, for retail consumer eye. And so that's going to be important. Also keep in mind the demographics of this industry are fairly young. It's an industry that has a really high percentage of women working in it, which I think is awesome. But it is also a really young industry, which is also very exciting. And so keep that in mind as you're approaching these folks, is that they're gonna like kind of new and exciting things as you're talking to them. Transitioning number 2, lean on your support team. Obviously, listening to Sadie and listening to Zach and to Alex, you can tell we've built up a lot of knowledge and a lot of information, and we have a lot that we can offer, whether those are samples, ideas, mock-ups, those types of things. We can help you with those types of things. Just engage our team and we can help you through that sales process. We can really partner with you. Last thing I'd say, third thing to remember is, and I think you heard this very clearly with Sadie and with Zach, don't sell on price. This is not, a Campbell soup can with a cut and stack label on it. This is going to be a product that is it's going to need some pizzazz. It's going to need that in its packaging, and they may spend quite a bit on the packaging. So there's things that we can do, digital embellishments, enhancements, traditional embellishments, enhancements that these people are going to really be interested in. So don't go in thinking that you're going to sell on price or even mention that you're the low cost leader, because that is not the direction that these people are going to want to go. We're so bullish, and again, I think Zach and Sadie both had puns, so I'm going to say we're so high on the market that we have made some significant investments into this space. So some of you may have seen the Printing Impressions article, saw that we invested in the KM1E, the first digital inkjet UV press in the country. We've invested in the Scodex. So we've invested in all these technologies that you can then go sell and will help support this industry. And again, it's a great opportunity for profit margins. We came up with this gift because I think in the retail environment, there's some things to just think about as well. So we talk packaging and labeling are huge opportunities, but also within this industry, there are so many things that you could sell. So as an example, floor signage. You walk into any retail environment today, floor signage, wayfinding signage, posters, etc., are super important. They're important in this industry. There's a dispenser there towards the back of the gift that is the dispenser that Alex talked about, where some of these CBD manufacturers have moved over to hand sanitizer. Within Navitor, we have a solution for that. So you could go into an extractor today, and if they said, we've switched over to hand sanitizer, you've got a product that you could actually sell them that they're using quite a bit. And Alex can give you some more information on that. But lots of products and lots of solutions from Navitor that fit this industry specifically. And like I said, lean heavily on your experts. We're excited to grow this industry with you. I'll kick it back to Stephanie.
All right, thanks, Rustin. So I think this that really kind of wraps us up here. It's really all the time we have here today. And so I do want to just leave you with a couple parting words before we go into the separate Q&A section here. But we've had a really interesting article on the investment, the packaging investment, and we'll talk more about that in the session next here. We also have some custom client-friendly materials. So Eliza, you were asking about that. So here's an example of some of those with a link, navitor.com, go to Comeback Solutions. We have banners there so that you can get there right away. There's lots of materials out there that we've provided for cannabis, for packaging specifically, even outside of the cannabis industry as well. So there's some really interesting things out there if you guys are looking to get some more information. I would say the article, if you're totally looking to geek out on equipment, it's really interesting. Right, Rustin?
Yes, yeah, and for us technology and printing geeks and old guys, it's fun to see new technologies in our industry. So
Awesome. All right. So what we're going to do, if folks need to head out because of the 30-minute timeline, that is totally fine. But we're going to move into the Q&A section now. So please, we'll start with some of the questions that have already gone out there just to make sure, give you a chance to do that. If you raise your hand, we can click the button allow to talk, so we can actually have a few people ask their question live if you'd like. So let's kind of start then with, we got a few people asking about the sample kits and sending out the presentation. Sadie, you want to just touch on that real quick? Okay, I think we're gonna have to pause on that one, Sadie. I don't know, I'm sorry. I think it's just the Zoom glitches that we're seeing. So what she was sharing is that Navitor.com has all these materials. We do have that. We will send out the presentation after this. So everyone who's registered will get a copy of the deck itself, plus the recording. And then for the sample kit, we have assembled those. And so when you get the survey at the end of this, when the webinar closes, just fill in your name and information there, and then we'll send you the sample kit for cannabis. And you'll see the packaging and the labels, all of that good stuff will be right on in there. Okay, so we covered that one. There was another question about bags for flowers, and are they childproof? Sort of childproof questions in general. So I'm hopeful that this will work a little better. Zach and Rustin, you guys want to touch on that?
How am I sounding? Am I good?
You are sounding great.
Okay. Yeah, we have different solutions out there. So typically what creates the child resistant portion of the Mylar bag is the heat sealing procedure that is done. We are able to produce that for you guys. Alex has the connections for that. You can reach out to her. She can very much help you out with that and find some different solutions for you as far as where to go, and then kind of break down as far as what type of products need to be going into those.
Yeah, and I'll just jump on that too, Zach. We do have some options with folded cartons that we can look into for you as well. Those are overseas, but we can help you with those where they've got some child resistant features. The last thing that I would say is the child resistant portion of that, depending on the product and the packaging, oftentimes maybe the jar, or it may be the canister or whatever it is inside of that may be providing that CR feature. So this is where we need to have that conversation, right? Really understand like who's your customer and what's the product, what state are they in, so that we can help kind of guide that conversation and make sure we plug in the right resources.
Thanks, guys. All right, so Murray has a question. Murray, I opened you up to share your question with us.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay, my question is, are we going after the manufacturers, the growers, or the CBD stores themselves? I'm a little confused on, because I do have a cannabis store in California that I sell a lot of promotional products to. And their products, they already get their bags and everything else from their suppliers. So where are we gearing up with this to go after? The suppliers, or, I mean, I definitely will hit the store and see if he has any ideas if he wants to rebag stuff with his logo on, of course, on that type of stuff. But how do we get a hold of like the chain of CBD oils? I mean, that's really digging in, I guess, because they're franchised, a lot of those places. Has anybody sold those franchise stores yet?
So I'm going to mute Murray and then give you guys a chance to answer. We're seeing this question from a few different people of kind of where to start. So I think we'll be able to touch on all of that. So Zach and Rustin, Alex, Sadie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Alex, why don't you start, and then we can kind of just jump in a little bit, but you can talk about some of the different verticals within that cannabis space and kind of what products you might want to lead with and what types of products they might buy compared to other verticals within the cannabis.
Yeah, I can start. So it was interesting throughout my research when I first came on as that business development associate for this emerging market was, holy cow, there's different type of verticals. Where do I start? I'm so overwhelmed. Oh my gosh. So where we have found a lot of success is ad agencies and consultants. That's our first big one that we're kind of targeting as Navitor. We're kind of ad agents, consultants, they have multiple different brands underneath them. So it's kind of like killing two birds with one stone. And then other ones are the extractors, so the farmers. That's another target. You can hit other distributors. That way you can sell them like, oh, are you just a distributor for labels? Let me add packaging to your line. You can come straight to us. We can help you. And then the fourth one is retail, which does get a little trickier. But that is that fourth vertical that we have seen is retail in the CBD space. And what we've noticed is packaging and labeling are the two big parts that we have sold. And then we have sold a little bit of signage as well. So hope that answers a little bit of your question. And then I'll pass it back on to Rustin or Zach.
I just wanted to add something real quick is typically kind of what I've seen with working with extractors and growers is that one of the main pain points they have is having product that they have completed on their left on their shelves. So they have the extracting process done. They put it into the bottle. They put the bottle on the shelf. They want to get those packed, labeled, and out the door as fast as possible. So if you can provide an efficient solution like what I've alluded to, we're turning products within a week to 10 days. And that can be a very big value add to some of these extractors and growers out there that, we can have, A, we're a one-stop shop, and B, we can get something to you within two and a half weeks max. Week, it really depends on how many they need and stuff like that. So that's what I've learned is that the pain point is speed to getting this out there. That extractors don't want it on their shelves. They lose money by the hour, by the minute. And so it's just important to understand that those are some main points to make while you're reaching out to these people.
Yeah, Marie, the last thing I'd say on that is just ask lots of questions. And the reason that I say that is we've found as a new industry and with people making lots of investments into different segments within the industry, there's a lot of things that are kind of co-tangled, let's say. So that your retail space may have an investment in an extractor, or they may have an opportunity to do some white labeling and they want to do their own version of a CBD oil that they can offer in the store that is being underneath their name. So it sounds like a little bit of a tangled web, but that kind of is what happens with these new industries as well, as there's just a lot of interdependencies and a lot of different opportunities. And I think if you just ask enough questions and follow enough of those leads, you'll end up into some good opportunities.
I have one little small tidbit to add to that is also, Murray, if you work with any graphic artists, I've seen a lot of times leads come in that way because you think about these new companies that are coming on to sell these products and they're going to go to a graphic designer to design their boxes, their labels, but then they don't have anybody to print them. So if you have any connections that way, that's another good way to get referrals. So just keep that in mind also.
Okay, we had some follow-up questions. So Jody was just saying, I think I'll direct this towards Alex. How do you find these ad agencies and consultants in this industry? And so I think we should just start there. We've got a few people chiming in that they're really interested in kind of how to start, right? Really specifically, literally, where do I go? So Alex, you want to give some information?
Yeah, perfect. Let's dive a little bit deeper. So Google is my best friend. That's amazing. But another place is, if you haven't already, NJ BizCon is one of the biggest trade shows for cannabis, and that you can find attendees in specifically what they went for, like on their booth. That's another way that you can find a list of ad agencies within this industry. I hope that answers your question.
Can you say the name of that conference again? Or that
NJ BizCon.
Okay. All right.
So yeah, and jumping onto that, there's lots of regional efforts as well. And then, my favorite is just to put it in LinkedIn and just search cannabis or CBD, and people have them as keywords, or they have them maybe even in the title of their company. And so you can decide, after you get a chance to look at either their profile or that information on that company, whether that might be a good target.
Yes, and chime off of that really quickly is on LinkedIn, you can actually follow specific hashtags So you can follow like CBD packaging and CD labels. That's another way that you can find people on LinkedIn.
Good point. Okay, Murray, I just unmuted you so that you have a chance to share your follow-up question.
Yeah, on the cannabis stores versus the CBD stores, they have a lot of, I should say, suppliers or sales reps come into their stores with product, and they sell it, they give it away to it, and that's the type of thing how they promote their product. That they want the buyers to take and try it and sell it. I don't know what the status on the CBD stores, and I don't know how they're doing. I know in Dallas, we have just the CBD oil just about on every corner. So I don't know how they're all doing. And do you guys have any stats on the CBD oil stores? I know the cannabis stores are doing fabulous, but I don't have any numbers on the CBD stores. Do you guys have that?
Okay.
Oh, you got to unmute. There you go. Alex, I don't know if you'd have any specific numbers on that or not. I do know, at least in our regional area, that there are more and more CBD stores and centers opening. So that would be one indicator to me that, that they seem to be doing okay. And to your point, Murray, too, we're noticing, Whole Foods and everybody is adding CBD product to their shelves. I think Zach, you said you might have saw it in a convenience store, like a gas station almost the other day. And I think Sadie, you had an interesting story too on where you saw it.
Yeah, we have locally here, we have some Mennonite that have local bake shops and things like that. And so we've seen actually like CBD oil products and balms there too.
I think just to add in here, the main thing with CBD is that it's widely available to all 50 states, right? So there's not as much, like we've said, child resistant and those kind of barriers to get around in order to, make the product sellable throughout the entire United States. There's not many regulations around it. It's used for medicinal purposes to help you with certain things. So the fact that that is such a wide open market for this, like Rustin said, grocery stores are becoming, I'm working with a customer right now that's getting into central market grocery stores and wants to sell CBD oils and on countertops and stuff like that. So the wide availability of being able to sell this throughout the United States as opposed to cannabis, is out there, and the opportunities are out there as well.
Okay. Thanks, guys. So I think I don't see any follow-up questions to those. So thank you, everyone. Another question that we got is, are there plans to set up a Navitor Cannabis website to streamline the buying process? So I know we've got lots of resources and tools, and maybe one of you could talk about what's on navitor.com to streamline the buying process.
Yeah, Zach, I think on the CBD side and on the packaging side, there's some kind of popular folded cartons that are on the website that are CBD or cannabis related.
Yeah, yep. So we've kind of, what's kind of hard is that everyone's trying to be different in this industry, right? They don't want to look like the same person. So it's come down to a lot of customized approaches as far as styles go. But what we've done is we've taken our best look of research we've done and provided templates onto our navitor.com that would be something that is used in this type of industry. So for example, tinctures, very popular in CBD. The main tincture bottle is the 30 milliliter 1 ounce bottle. That's a standard box for us. So we wanted to make that a standard product. Dummy jars, like a 3x3x3 box, are some other things. Cream jars. So we've done some research now. We have a limited list that we'll keep adding to as we keep moving it forward. But for right now, to streamline, we do have specific products that we've seen more so than others up there. So we will keep adding as we keep growing.
Great. Okay. All right, well, that it looks like we covered the majority of the questions there. Some of them we'll follow up with you privately, so we'll be able to do that. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for your partnership today, and the panelists, thank you. I think it's exciting to see so much information being presented in this new industry. So we know you're spread thin, and so, you know, kind of emphasizing there what Zach was sharing on Navitor.com, so that helps you get your hands on the opening essentials like the flip books, client-friendly materials, social toolkits that you can post on your Facebook or Instagram. We give you images and text that you can use or edit, whatever you need to do. All those are free. And then we have other marketing as well that you can put in front of your customers that are member only. So members on dealers of Navitor would be able to get access to additional materials. So lots of stuff out there for you. So we've really done a lot of that research and prep so that you can look and feel and have that confidence of the expert out there. So we would appreciate your feedback, and have provided a link to a quick survey that will pop up as you log off the webinar. That survey also is where you can sign up to get those samples that folks are asking about, and so that you can get what you've seen here today. And we'll get those out in the mail to you really quickly. So thank you, everyone on the panel. Thank you so much for your tips and experience today. It really helps to make it easier for distributors to sell. And thank you to the folks on the call today as well for your time and engagement. So here at Navitor, we innovate, you sell, and it's a win. We really look forward to seeing you next time. We'll have a panel of experts coming, outside experts coming onto our workshop series. So that'll be exciting too. Thank you again. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.